All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is trade deadline day in Major League Baseball, and this is a very special edition of Fans of the Diamond. I am Big Rich filling in for Adam tonight. He is on assignment. I got with me to my right on your screen. It's our guy Jason, Dodger Jason, actually. So
Hey.
Jason, how you doing, man?
Oh, Big Rich, I'm just doing fan freaking tastic. How are you?
Spiffy. I don't feel any older, even
Neither
though
do
the
I.
number
So,
changes. Yeah, even though
yeah.
the number changed, I don't feel any older, so that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Hey, I did get a birthday gift today, though, and we'll talk about that here in a little while.
Oh,
But
happy birthday,
let's
man.
go ahead. No, thank you. I appreciate that. Let's
Yeah.
roll through some of the big moves that happened today, and then we can kind of intersperse ourselves from there.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to jump in with your comments, questions, hit us up wherever you're at. We'll be more than happy to get into those. But some of the big moves that happened today, Lars Nootbaar goes from St. Louis to Arizona. We saw one of the biggest moves that we saw was Adley Rushman going from the Baltimore Orioles to the Boston Red Sox,
Yeah.
along with Jake Rogers for Anthony Evanson, Carlos Narvaez, Endy Azokar, and Kyson Witherspoon, along with the ever popular. Have you ever seen this guy in uniform, Jason? He's very impressive. The player to be named later.
I have never seen the player to be named later ever in my time.
You know how Pete Crow Armstrong's last name kind of goes this way around the jersey?
Yeah, it
Well, to be
encompasses the
named,
whole back. Yeah.
yeah, to be named later kind of does the same thing to it. So
Yes, it
it's just
does.
like the wrestler from Parts Unknown, you know?
Yeah, right. No kidding.
Uh, there you go. The Chicago Cubs, I think, made a couple of very big deals, actually. They got Ryan Zefferjan from the Angels, a relief pitcher, for Moises Ballesteros and Mason McGuire. They acquired Braxton Garrett from the Marlins, and they got Kevin Gausman from the Blue Jays for Brett Bateman and Ty Saltasign,
Yeah.
along with trading Jamison Tyon in a separate deal to the Blue
Yeah.
Jays. The White Sox got Joey Bart. They got from the Braves. They got Luis Castillo from the Mariners for Sir Anthony Dominguez, Nolan Jones, and Boston Smith. They acquired another middle reliever that I think is going to be a big piece for them, who Oscar Brazoban from the Mets for Gabe
Mhm.
Davis and Zach Franklin.
Yeah.
Reds stayed pretty eh. They did trade Nathaniel Lowe to the Guardians for Alejandro Rivera. That was pretty much their big move. The Guardians also made a move with the Angels for Joe Adell to get for Jacob Cozart. So a nice move there. And they traded Bo Naylor and Cody Hewer to the Brewers for
Yeah.
Blake Perkins and Craig Yoho.
Yeah.
Rockies didn't do a whole lot. The Tigers, and I'm sure, man, if Jeremy's listening, hopefully he'll jump in with us tonight. Obviously, they made the move, sending Tarek Skubal to your Dodgers for Zahir Hope, River Ryan, and Brady Smith. But they also made a deal today sending Casey Mize and Gage Workman to the Padres for Cash Mayfield and Jackson Wolf. The Astros received Dalton Varsho from the Blue Jays for Spencer Arrighetti. The Royals didn't do a whole lot. They did trade Lane Thomas and Bailey Falter to the Braves, though, to help bolster the Braves a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, the Los Angeles Angels traded Kirby Yates to my Pittsburgh Pirates for Kyle Robinson. I'm so glad we've got another reliever that's actually better than anybody else we already have,
Oh, be
named
careful what you
Mason
wish for.
Montgomery.
Be careful what you wish
Hey,
for, Rich.
he's better than any guy in that bullpen right now, not named Mason Montgomery or Carmen Majinski. I'll tell you
All I
that
can
right now.
all I can say is the coconuts that come out of Kirby Yates's glove are going to be flying towards the Allegheny, man. So just get ready for them.
Um, the Dodgers got rid of former Pirate legend Jack Sawinski for
Yep,
Hunter Fiducia and Jacob Kmatz.
it's a
But you
sad day.
made a sneaky deal, and you and I talked about this a little for a second on text earlier.
Yeah.
The Dodgers acquired Chris Bubich for Carlos Duran
Yes.
from the Royals, and they also
Yes.
got Ben Rortvedt, catcher from the Mets, for Chase McDermott. But that
Yes.
Bubich deal, that's a sneaky good move, man.
Sneaky good move on a few fronts actually. And for those who have been monitoring Bubich's situation, they might say, On the outside looking in, are you crazy? This guy has a shoulder injury, hasn't played since mid-May, and his numbers don't indicate him being traded. Well, okay, a couple of things to kind of clear up the Bubic confusion. First of all, number one, he's already started a throwing program and throwing progression program. Very close to coming back. In fact, the Dodgers said on their team Twitter account today, after the trade was made, they are expecting Bubic to come back at the end of August. So there is reason number one why they got him. Okay, and Andy Friedman loves injured pitchers. We all know this. Reason number two. Okay, he lengthens out when he gets back and he's healthy. He can either be a spot starter, either as a number 4 or a 5 starter, if the worst case scenario were to happen, where Glasnow, Snell, and the like go back on the IL. Bubic can rotate back and forth either as a back end starter, or you can put him in the bullpen and have him lengthen out the bullpen and throw some late inning work there. Number three. Bubic is a guy, I already talked about how interchangeable he is from the starting rotation to the back end of the bullpen. But number three, when he was an all-star in 2024, his metrics were really good at inducing ground ball outs. He was one of the best relievers in baseball at inducing ground ball outs. And that's very important for the Dodgers because as of late, their pitching staff has been throwing watermelons, grapefruits, and mangoes to every single batter they have been seeing. They have been giving up home runs at an astonishing rate. And I'm not talking about just the starting rotation. I'm talking about everyone, the entire staff. It's been a hitter's frenzy on the other side. So getting Bubic back will help that out in a number of different ways. And also, rosters are expanding in September. So with the rosters set to expand, the Dodgers aren't really in a rush to bring him back. They can make sure that shoulder is as close to perfect, I guess you could say, as it is. Plus, he'll get his standard rehab stints before he comes back too. So, but yeah, I agree with you. I like the Bubic deal. It's sneaky good, and hopefully, if it pans out, it will help them in the last month and a half, 2 months of the season.
Yeah. Other moves that took place today or in the recent past, the Milwaukee Brewers made a couple of, again, sneaky good moves. They acquired Antonio Senzatella from the Rockies for Mark Manfredi and Juan Martinez to bolster their bullpen. They also acquired Dustin May, who has been pretty good here lately, former Dodger, now former Cardinal, and Jojo Romero for Alexander Frias and Josiah Ragsdale. And as I mentioned earlier, they got Bo Naylor from the Guardians. The Minnesota Twins acquired Dean Kramer from the Orioles for Jamnardo Reyes and AJ Minter from the Mets for Billy Amick and Bruin Agbayani, the son of former Mets legend Benny Agbayani.
I remember Benny Agbayani.
Yeah, the Hawaiian legend, along with Shane Victorino.
Yep, the Flying Hawaiian.
Two Hawaiian legends in baseball.
Yep.
The New York Mets made a trade with the fighting Pittsburgh Pirates that I just absolutely was head over heels about. Luke Weaver goes from the Mets to the Pirates for Sammy Stafara, who was the number 3 shortstop in the Pirates organization. Not number 3 prospect, the number 3 shortstop. And the Pirates will have control of Weaver not just this year, but next year. And the Mets also, they dumped a lot. They dumped Rortvedt for Chase McDermott to the Dodgers, as we mentioned a little while ago. And they dumped Brooks Raley as well. The New York Yankees, not much. Elliot Ramos from the Giants for Henry LaLane and Caden Kent. And they got Luis Garcia Jr. from the Nationals for Giovanni Cruz, Jack Siebert, Ben Grable, and Jake Bird. There's a name we haven't heard in a while.
Yeah, right.
The Phillies acquired Colby Thomas from the A's for Seth Johnson, Brooks Raley from the Mets, Luis Arias and Caleb Killian from the Giants for Ramon Marquez and Marty Geyer. The main significance of this move is twofold. One, this is the 5th time a 3-time batting champion has been traded. And this also means that a certain individual is now going back in the outfield. That would be one Bryce Harper, because now we're going to see Alec Boehm at first for the Phillies, with Arias at second and Bryson Stott at third.
Yep.
That should make things a little interesting for the Fighting Phils.
Yeah, and you know what? Something else interesting too that we haven't really factored into that dynamic for the Phils is that over the last couple of weeks, there have been a lot of stories floating around that Dave Dombrowski and Bryce Harper don't exactly exchange cognac and cigars together, and that their relationship has become pretty contentious. So, not saying that Dombrowski does factor into that decision to move Harper back to right field because he's the one who made the trade in the first place, not Preston Mattingly. Let's not get mistaken or too far ahead of ourselves here. This move was a Dombrowski move, not a Preston Mattingly move. So it'll be interesting to see, number one, how willing Harper is to go back to right field, but number two, how well Bohm does at first base, offensively and defensively.
Harper has already said he's fine with it. He had his glove in his locker. He said, whatever's going to work best for the team, I'm in.
Okay, good.
Which has been Harper's attitude his whole career, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, you're right. Okay, good. More the merrier then.
So then we get to the Pirates, who, for a team that had 18 bullpen losses, they acquired Kirby Yates from the Angels for Kyle Robinson. They acquired Lake Becker from the Marlins. They acquired Luke Weaver from the Mets. They acquired Camilo Doval from the Yankees, all to bolster that bullpen. As far as I'm concerned, if your name is not Carmen Majinski or Mason Montgomery and you were in the bullpen for the Pirates, including you, Gregory Soto, you worthless piece of garbage, you're gone. DFA the whole bunch of them. I don't care. Put those guys in their place and let's go. Moving right along. As Marcus joins us, by the way. Marcus, how you doing, buddy?
What's going on, fellas? Happy birthday, Rich. Hope you had a wonderful day.
I did. We did a bunch of celebrating too yesterday. Happy early birthday to you, sir.
Thank you. And since Jason's in the house, in case he wants to know, I'm going to be in my Teoscar Hernandez years tomorrow.
Hey, happy upcoming Teoscar Hernandez year's birthday, buddy.
What a pup. I'm telling you.
Yeah, right?
What a pup.
Bad time to turn 37 when he's one of the most hated guys right now, all because of
Oral Hershiser today, guys.
Yeah, right.
So we're going over some of the major moves, and then we're going to start getting into the ins and outs of the draft, the trade deadline, Marcus. So we just got a few more teams to hit. The Padres made some sneaky moves today that I think really helped their team. They acquired Hunter Stratton from the Pirates for Andrew Moore. They got Casey Mize and Gage Workman from the Tigers for Cash Mayfield and Jackson Wolf. And they got Robbie Ray from the Giants for Miguel Mendez and Yaniel Hernandez. So some nice little moves there for the Padres. The Giants really didn't do anything of substance except unload people. Seattle acquired Taylor Ward from the Orioles for Alex Hoppe, Brock Moore, and Harrison Kraling. And then they got Sir Anthony Dominguez in that White Sox deal for Luis Castillo. So that helps their bullpen. The Cardinals acquired Caleb Ferguson from the Reds. They, as we talked about a little while ago, they dumped Lars Nootbaar for Daniel Egan and Sandro Santana. Tampa Bay got, as we mentioned a little bit ago, former Dodger legend Jack Sawinski, as well as getting Liam Hicks from the Marlins, which I thought was a nice move, for Braden Taylor, Adrian Santana, and Jacob Kisting. And they got Freddie Peralta from the Mets for Aiden Smith, Emilian Petrie, and Gary Gill Hill. The Rangers did basically nothing. This afternoon, they acquired Adam Macko from the Blue Jays for utility infielder Josh Smith, and that's it. Jacob deGrom used his no-trade clause to block a trade to the Braves, and Corey Seager used his no-trade clause to block a trade to the fighting Dodgers.
Of course. We don't want you back anyway, Corey.
Toronto Blue Jays made a couple of moves today. They got Spencer
Gossman. Let's not forget that Gossman has World Series experience. This guy pitched like a beast last year for the Blue Jays in the World Series, and he and every other pitcher in that Toronto rotation had the Dodger offense flummoxed in that entire 7-game series. So I think the most impactful moves for the Cubs simply because they're adding to their depth, they're adding to their rotation. They're giving manager Craig Counsell a lot more versatility and a lot more options, especially this time of year when the bats start to feel a little bit heavy, losing slumps become more prevalent than winning streaks, Dodgers. It just gives Craig Counsell and the Cubs more roster flexibility.
The Blue Jays for Spencer Arguetti. So, I mean, that's what we got. That's probably the only trade I've seen the Astros do recently. I haven't heard anything else. Just picking up him over Arguetti. Varsho is his name.
Yeah, I was really, I don't know about you guys. I was really surprised you didn't see. I wasn't surprised Jeffers didn't get moved with the way the Twins have played for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised Hunter Goodman didn't go anywhere. I really figured with all the teams that needed catchers, he was going to end up going somewhere. I'm really surprised that the Rangers didn't make more moves one way or the other. I don't know what the hell they were doing. They stay pat. They get rid of one of their better players, to be perfectly honest with you, and Josh Smith. He hasn't played as well this year as he has in the past. But, you don't do anything with him. And I was also surprised, Jason, that your Dodgers didn't make the Ben Rorvet thing. I get, but I'm curious to find out what happened that Higashioka deal didn't come through.
I'll clue into that in just a second here. I forgot to mention the trade I was surprised that didn't happen. Simply put, Milwaukee didn't trade for Tarek Skubal. He was right there in their lap. The Tigers were willing to take Milwaukee's 3, 4, or 5 best rated prospects. They were ready to say, okay, we'll leave Jesus Made alone. We'll take any other guy that you're willing to trade for Skubal. He was there in their lap for the taking, and they didn't make the deal. And Milwaukee is serious about going to and winning a World Series. I was honestly surprised Skubal did not end up in Milwaukee rather than LA, because the Brewers gained some traction at the last minute. And also Tampa Bay did too. The Rays were in it up until the end. But really quickly, Rich, to answer your question about Rortvedt, why the Dodgers got him back and why they didn't get Higashioka, Ben Rortvedt was really key to this team's World Series success in 2024 with the way he handled the pitching staff. Now, he doesn't, even though he's got biceps bigger than my head, I know he doesn't swing the bat with great proficiency, but when he was behind the plate, he was on cue with everything that their pitchers were throwing. He knew exactly what to throw in what situation. He was outstanding defensively at blocking wild pitches. He developed a rapport with the rotation, and they trusted him. That's why the Dodgers got him back, because right now their pitching has been a sub 500 unit, but for the better part of a month. Let's not mince words here. Dodgers pitching's been terrible in the entire month of July. And they need somebody to come in who knows how to jump in and work with that staff right away. Ben Rortvedt is that guy, because most of those guys are still there. I know Snell wasn't on the Dodgers in 24 when they did it, but Glasnow was, Shohei was, and so were the rest. So Rortvedt, that's why they got him, because of the familiarity and just the intangibles he brings. And to be honest with you, Rich, you know what? It sounds like Will Smith is set to come back. But even with his expected return, it's going to take him a while to get back into the flow of things, if at all. So, and as far as Higashioka, from what I heard, the Dodgers would have had to part with way too many guys to get Higashioka. And he's a nice player. He's decent. He swings a better bat than Rortvedt. But at this point, when you look at the Dodgers, if you're into one of those, rob Peter to pay Paul situations, at this point in the season and you're the Dodgers, you're not willing to do it. You're more comfortable with bringing back a light-hitting catcher who knows your pitching staff better than a solid hitting catcher who would have to learn your pitching staff inside and out for the rest of the season. So that's why the Dodgers flipped out on Higashioka and went with Rortvedt and Fiducia instead.
Who do you guys think did the best job of getting their team ready for the postseason with the moves they made in the last couple of days? Marcus?
No question. Dodgers. No question there.
Who did the worst job?
Probably the Yankees. I don't think they picked up anybody. that I've heard of.
Much.
All the Yankee fans are doing is still crying about the damn Dodgers picking up Skiddo, or how do you say his name? I had a brain fart.
Rortvedt.
Oh, Skubal? Oh, Rortvedt?
Yeah.
Oh, Skubal. Yeah, I mean, the Yankees got Heliot Ramos from the Giants, and they got Luis Garcia from the Nationals, and that's it. It's the only moves they really made.
Nothing. No move. That ain't nothing.
Jason, who did the best job of making themselves better for the postseason or getting to the postseason? And who did the worst job?
Well, I've already mentioned the Cubs. I'm also going to say the Chicago White Sox. I love what Chris Getz did on the South Side. I know from the outside looking in, they aren't moves that necessarily will move the needle. But for the White Sox, it's exactly what they need at exactly the right time. Rich, I'm also going to go the Cleveland Guardians. The Cleveland Guardians made some really solid under-the-radar moves. They get an all-star pitcher in Foster Griffin, and you already are going to dump him into a top 5, top 6 pitching rotation in the American League and all of Major League Baseball right now. I mean, that Cleveland Guardian rotation is going to be really scary with Foster Griffin, Tanner Bybee, and the rookie who's had a fantastic year this year for them in that rotation.
I'll think of his name in a second.
I just forgot it too. It's one of those fancy baseball-sounding names. But also, I like Joe Adell. Now, Joe Adell is going to frustrate a lot of Guardian fans sometimes, but he has a lot of athleticism in the outfield. When his bat gets hot, it gets hot. And I think he's going to fit in really well defensively and offensively in that Guardians lineup.
Perfect case in point. 6th inning, 4-3 Pirates, runner on first. They bring in who? Gregory Soto. What's the first thing he does? He hits a guy. I hope he enjoys this. I hope he enjoys those 3 letters. DFA.
F-A.
See ya. Hit the high road running Charlie. I think the Pirates did some great stuff to get themselves. I mean, yes, losing Ryan O'Hearn hurts, and you're not going to get O'Hearn back till like the last weeks of the season or the playoffs. Yeah. But you got Spencer Horwitz back, which is just about an even swap. You just don't have the depth that you had before. But making the moves to get those 3 relievers, and I'm not kidding around, folks, they have now a legitimate closer in Luke Weaver. They have Camilo Doval and Kirby Yates, who, despite Jason's thoughts on Yates, I saw what he did with the Rangers in 2023. If we have him as our 7th inning guy, Mason Montgomery as our 8th inning guy, and Luke Weaver as the 9th inning guy, that completely changes the Pirates' outlook compared to what we have right now.
Yeah.
Because this bowl of fruits and nuts that's out there tonight before all these guys at the trade get here.
Yeah.
Gregory Soto's in there in the 6th inning. There's a reason for that.
I also forgot to mention the Guardians getting Nathaniel Lowe. That was a solid under the radar acquisition as well.
I'm not the biggest Lowe guy, but yeah. I mean, he's a decent bat, decent defensively. He can't dig a ball out of the dirt to save his life. But he plays well at first. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a pretty solid move. The ones that I think kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit, of course, as I mentioned a little bit ago, was the Rangers. By not doing anything. And I agree with Marcus, with the Yankees. I mean, Judge is still up in the air. Giancarlo Stanton is always up in the air. You don't have Bellinger until what? Early mid-September?
At best.
I talked about this on Open Mic last week. Where are their sticks going to come from outside of Ben Rice?
You bring up a very good point because, when I was actually one of the teams I was really keeping an eye on was the Yankees today, because if there's one executive who was under more pressure to improve his team, it's Brian Cashman. And I was trying to get inside the mind of Brian Cashman to figure out why he only obtained Heliot Ramos from the Giants, who, okay, he's going to make their offense a little bit better. But let's not kid ourselves here. Heliot Ramos is not going to be an over-the-top, get the Yankees and keep them over the top type of move.
No.
But, I mean, if I'm Brian Cashman and I'm sitting back in my seat at Yankee Stadium, I know all eyes are on me to at least get some fill-in guys until Judge comes back, Bellinger comes back, and all I come away with is Heliot Ramos. I mean, it makes me really, Rich. This is what interests me the most about the game is the business side and how each executive views his team differently than the other one. It's very clear that Brian Cashman's views on how the Yankees should be constructed are much different than what Hal Steinbrenner's views are, which, I mean, Steinbrenner has been so hands-off with his team. His dad is probably rolling over in his grave right now. But, I mean, the Yankees are still in it. They're not a great team. They're not a bad team. The Red Sox have surged all the way back into this thing. The Blue Jays have punted the ball. The Rays are still a great team. The Orioles have punted the ball as well. If you're Cashman, you have a chance to electrify and ignite your fan base. Get them excited about Yankees baseball again because it has been the true definition of peaks and valleys this season. And you only get Heliot Ramos. They had to at least come out away with a guy like Lars Nootbaar as well. They had to at least come away with another guy like Nathaniel Lowe. But he sat on his laurels and just got Heliot Ramos. And you know what? I don't know. That's just what really befuddled me was what Cashman was thinking. Was he thinking, we're fine, like Andy Friedman, we're getting all of our injured guys back, we're going to be okay? Or is there another modus operandi at work here?
Yeah, and there were guys available out there like a Joe Adell, like even like a Kyle Stowers, that they could have gone and gotten some power to put in that lineup to at least absorb a little bit of Bellinger, Judge, and Stanton not being in the lineup. But I agree with you completely. You kind of wonder if you have two different philosophies playing tug of war with each other, and it is weird. But Marcus, when you look at what your Astros did or didn't do, Spencer Arrighetti has been one of those guys that's up and down. But you got yourself a Gold Glove center fielder to take his spot and a legit leadoff hitter as well. So what do you think about what happened at the trade deadline, and what do you think as they go into the month of August?
It was sad seeing Arrighetti go because he did what he could to kind of help us win with Hunter Brown on the shelf, but he'll be missed. But yeah, about the other one, yeah, he was a hell of a player at Toronto. Dalton Varsho, he's a hell of a player, and lucky to have him. But what's going in the month of August? I mean, it could be. I mean, they're not doing good right now with the Blue Jays, but this don't mean. I mean, after this first week, I mean, it could be a little tough because they got the Padres next. That could be challenging. But then after that, I think they can handle their business with the Giants. Seattle's going to be tough, and then after that, the rest of the month, it's like Angels, no problem. A's, no problem. Mets, no problem. Yankees, probably no problem either. The only team that might worry me this month is the White Sox. They end the month of August with them going into September.
I'll tell you what, guys, I don't know about you, but I think the White Sox have definitely taken the why not us attitude, and they're going out there and just playing baseball, and they're playing really well as a team. They're out fundamentaling guys. I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but if you look at the fielding percentages in Major League Baseball, the fourth highest fielding percentage in Major League Baseball is on the South Side.
Belongs to the Pillows.
You don't make mistakes. You don't give up free runs. That helps you win too.
Yeah, the Dodgers played the White Sox earlier this season, and I know that one of the Dodgers color analysts is Jerry Hairston Jr., who used to play in Chicago with the Cubs. He's now an analyst for the Dodgers. He said one of the reasons why the White Sox are better is because they have an easier schedule. I'm never one to buy into strength of schedule, and here's the reason why. Good teams are losing to bad teams all the time, and bad teams are defeating good teams all the time. You still got to go out and you still got to play the games, regardless of your strength of schedule. Now, I mean, to some extent, Jerry's right, but also I think, Rich, much to your point, that when the White Sox came into this season, they came off, two 100 loss seasons. Last season was was forgettable. And going into spring training, nobody talked about him. Nobody took him seriously. And you're right. They took the world against us mentality. And this is where having Will Venable as their first-year manager has come into play. And I think Will Venable should become American League Manager of the Year because of it. Because Will Venable also heard the same gripes. He's never been a manager before. He was an average player at best. What's he going to be able to do? Well, you know what? He's taken that group of young players there on the South Side and said, you know what? It's bulletin board material, all of it. Just go out and do your game. And they have played a really great game this season. They've more than doubled their winning total from last season already, or they're close to it. They're going to win 80 games this year. Yeah, they're going to win 80 games this year.
Oh, yeah, they'll be over 500. There's no question about that.
Yeah. So I agree with you. It's that world against us mentality. And at the end of the day, they know that even if they don't get into the postseason, regardless of what they've done throughout this season and the trade deadline, they have still accomplished a hell of a lot more than we all thought they would. So it's a no-win, it's a no-lose situation for them. It's win-win.
Right. And they've got themselves a true ace now in Luis Castillo, who can work with these younger guys. I mean, to me, we've got a couple of teams in Major League Baseball that are kind of that why not us thing. Strength of schedule in baseball doesn't do a whole heck of a lot of good because everybody plays everybody.
Yeah,
exactly. Yes, you play the teams in your division a little more frequently, but you play everybody. So I don't care if it's, White Sox and Dodgers or Astros and Marlins or whatever. We're going to see everybody before the season's over.
Exactly.
But, I mean, that division is there for the White Sox to take. I mean, nobody's running away with it, much like the AL West. You got Cleveland. Minnesota's dealing with an injury to Buxton. So, that kind of hurts them a little bit. And the White Sox just keep trucking along. This trade deadline, though, as we sit right this second, and let me pull up the standings real quick, because as we sit on August the 3rd, the standings themselves in Major League Baseball, I think, are pretty representative of what we're going to see at the end of the year. Currently, you've got in the American League, the East, you got the Tampa Bay Rays up 2.5 on the Yankees. The White Sox are 3 up on Cleveland, 4 on Minnesota. Houston is 2.5 up on Texas and 3 on Seattle. The Braves are 7.5 up on Philly. The Brewers are 6.5 up on the Cubs, and the Dodgers are in their own division. So, when you look at that, and then you look at the wild card situation in the National League, your 3 wild cards currently would be in the American League, Yankees, Red Sox, Guardians, but the Twins are 1 game out, the Rangers are 1.5 games out, the Mariners are 2 games out, the Orioles are 2.5 out, and the Tigers are 2.5 out. So you got a whole lot going for the wild card there. In the National League, it's kind of similar. Cubs, Phillies, Diamondbacks currently. The Padres are 1 back. Marlins are 1.5 back. Pirates are 3.5 back, and the Cardinals are 4 back. So I don't think it's over as far as the playoffs by any stretch of the imagination. But I think that we're going to see some of these teams that are right on the edge of the playoffs, either they're in by just a little bit or out by just a little bit. With some of these moves they made, I think we're going to see a lot of flip, flop, and fly, bingo machine, whatever you want to call it, between now and the end of September. What do you guys think?
It's likely that we could. And, I mean, the most ironic thing about the trade deadline, which also happens to be the funniest thing, is that usually 2/3 of the moves that every team makes, regardless of how many they make, never really pan out ultimately in the long run. I mean, despite all the great moves that Cleveland made, that Philly made, getting Arias, and even LA getting Tarek Skubal, again, like you said, Rich, there's still no guarantees. But still, leading up to what you just talked about, yeah, there's going to be a lot more flip-flopping. And like I said earlier, rosters expand in September. And so you got to factor that in as well, because that's when clubs are going to start looking at teams in their farm system at AAA to decide who they can bring up for that stretch run heading down to October and through the wild card. So, yeah, it's going to be like the first domino has already been tipped, and we have yet to see all the rest of the dominoes fall over.
Yeah. Marcus?
Can you rephrase the question, Regis?
Phone friend, buddy.
Sorry, I was watching Joe Henry get his ass kicked by Braun Breaker.
Well, no, just with the way that we're looking at teams being either just barely into the playoffs or just barely out, few games in either way. These moves, do you think we're going to see a whole lot of flip-flop and fly with the standings here in the next 2 months, or do you think things are pretty well going to stay where they're at?
Let's see. Let's examine this. So I'm going to go by each division. Some might be quick. Looking at the American League, Tampa Bay could still hold it. Toronto on the other end, I know they're dead last. Maybe they slowly might move up, but if the Yankees get in, could be a wild card. That'd be funny if Boston finds a way to sneak over, but I don't even know what Boston did in their trade to make them better. And Baltimore, I don't really know what's going on there. Central, I think's locked in. I think it's the White Sox taking that division. I can see the Guardians going in as a wild card. Twins, not 100% sure. The West, I think Texas is done. It's probably going to come down to the Astros and the Mariners.
Yeah.
It's going to come down to the Astros and the Mariners with that one. Both of them will make the playoffs either way, but who's going to go as the division champ? Looking at the National League, I mean, Atlanta's really up, but I figured Philly was going to be the talk because they claim they got the best player ever in Schwarber, but Atlanta's kind of been doing good there. So, I mean, I think that could stay where it's at. Milwaukee and the Cubs might be back and forth of who wins that. And I was hoping for y'all's sake to get in with how Paul Skeens and them were doing throughout the season, but it looks like y'all been slacking too. And then the West, that's all for the Dodgers. But I'm shocked to see the Diamondbacks are in second place. I thought it was the Padres. But hell, Arizona might get in as a wild card before San Diego, but Dodgers got that one locked in.
No, I disagree. I don't think the NL West is going to be a walk-away win for the Dodgers like it looks right now. And here's the reason why. When you look at the Dodgers' track record, guys, over the last 5 or 6 seasons, they have always had a large, gigantic losing streak during the second half of the season. And it usually takes place around this time, early to mid-August. And by losing streak, I mean a losing streak. I'm talking about losing 16 of 19. There was Marcus in 2017 when we ended up going to the World Series to play the Astros. The Dodgers at one point lost 20 of 24 games before they finally ran through September, ran roughshod, and went all the way to the series to lose to the Astros. So I think the Dodgers, despite what they've done, they are an older roster. It's not as easy for them to get away from losing streaks as it was before. They have one long losing streak left in them. I think Arizona right now has been hot. They have been playing really well. Lars Nootbaar is going to make them better offensively. I think by the end of the season, NL West is going to come down to a 5-game, 4-game, 3-game lead. I don't think it's going to stay a runaway division.
Really?
And also, yes. And I'm not saying that to disparage the Dodgers. I'm not saying that to be a pessimist. I'm saying that because I look at their track record, and the Dodgers are carbon copies of themselves each and every year. They are so damn predictable, you can practically place a bet on them and you'll be guaranteed to win money. Now, I know the second half of their schedule lightens up here a little bit towards the end of August, but still, that's just my feeling. Marcus, what were you going to say?
You made a valid point, and I'm going to bring the Astros up as a prime example on 2 different occasions when it comes to the World Series. If in case people forgot, when they went to the World Series for the first time in 2005, the first half of the season, they were dead last in the freaking league and somehow snuck away in the wild card and made it to the World Series, even though they got swept by the Chicago White Sox. 2019, on the other hand, that was the greatest Astros team they've ever had in franchise history that never won a championship. I still think, like, how with that talent they had in 2019, how did they not win the World Series against the Nationals? How did the But that was the most craziest World Series I've ever saw because neither team could win at home. They had to win on the road. So I kept saying if Game 7 would have been in freaking D.C., they'd have won their second title in 2019 and their first without cheating.
Yeah. I would like to say the NL East will be a little bit closer. I know right now the Braves have a 7-game lead against the Phillies, but even with Philadelphia getting Arias, I just don't know if their starting rotation can maintain the consistency they need to maintain. And their bullpen has been kind of up and down recently. So, I mean, keep an eye on the NL East too. It'll be interesting to see if both Atlanta can gain a little more ground and if Philly can gain more ground as well.
Yeah. But, well, I'd have to look and see. I mean, anything can change too. Like, anything can happen in baseball. But I feel like the only teams that might be in their way to having a good month is the Mariners and the White Sox. I think everyone else, and maybe the Padres too. Everyone else, I think they can, like, easily handle. I could see them sweeping the Angels again. I could see them possibly sweeping the A's. I would love for them to sweep the Yankees, but I'm pretty sure they're going to drop one. Hopefully not two. And then maybe the Mets, like, they'll win that series, but I wouldn't be surprised if they drop one game with the Mets. But
yeah,
they've already had 3 sweeps since the second half started. Yeah, they had a rough start with Baltimore and then handled their business with the White Sox, swept the damn Angels, and swept the Rangers. Like, and they swept another team, so they had 3 sweeps.
Is it just me, or is anybody else surprised that the Mets didn't unload more? I mean,
well,
no Lindor, no, they got rid of Peralta. That was it.
I really don't think. I'm not surprised they didn't unload more. Here's the reason why: because of all of the conjecture running back and forth about Soto and Lindor not getting along. Plus, when you look at the size, we know Soto's not going anywhere. But when you look at the size of Lindor's contract, you also look at the fact that he's not really a spring chicken anymore. He's still a decent player, but I mean, still not all-star caliber anymore. I'm not surprised he didn't get moved. I'm surprised Luis Robert didn't get moved. I thought for sure that they were going to be able to dump him, but when you look at his injury history, when you look at how the rate of return doesn't match the production he's given the Mets because of the injuries, hey, if I was an opposing executive, I would have been scared off from him too. So no shock that I am somewhat shocked he stayed in New York, but then again, I'm not.
Well, I mean, we've pretty much taken this thing from soup to nuts, guys. Trade deadline, of course. This is the non-waiver trade deadline, of course.
Yes.
Trades can take place between now and the end of the season. The big thing is both players have to clear waivers. And there will still be another move or two between now and the end of the season, but it's not going to be anything of any substance. It might be somebody like a Luis Robert that would clear waivers, getting traded or something like that. But with what you saw over the last few days, was this a good trade deadline, a bad trade deadline? Do you think it was what it would have been if we didn't have a quote work stoppage looming?
I'm going to say it was what I expected. When you look at the fact that Tarek Skubal was really the only major star player that was circling around in this whole thing, I thought overall the deadline was what I expected. I expected a number of teams to obtain players to fill the holes, fill the gaps, and put some Band-Aids on some scratches until some of these other injured players and all these other teams came back to round out the rest of the rosters. And also, I mean, when you look at just go through the entire transaction wire, guys, and you look at the quality of players that went to these different places, I mean, some of these guys were all-stars, some weren't, but a lot of them aren't guys that are necessarily going to automatically propel their teams to the next World Series. Again, most of these moves were made to help executives and managers fill in the gaps until everyone else comes back. So it was what I expected, and I thought it was a fun deadline. I mean, I was checking Twitter every 5 minutes to see this guy go, this guy go, this guy go, this guy go. So overall, if I had to give it a grade, Big Rich, I'd give it a B plus. I would say it was pretty good.
Here's
Marcus?
something for y'all. I got something for y'all. Give me your 3 most shocking MLB trades of all time that you can remember or heard of.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm going to say one of them is John Smoltz from the Detroit Tigers to the Atlanta Braves for Doyle Alexander. The other one is Pedro Martinez to the Montreal Expos for Delino DeShields. And nobody will ever mention that trade in my presence ever again. In fact, I had a tough time stomaching it, just saying it. And then the third most surprising trade for me that I can think of off the top of my head, I believe the Astros, when they who was it? No, it wasn't. Bagwell was an Astro for his career. Who am I thinking of here? Oh,
He wasn't. No, he wasn't.
Oh, you're right. You're right. He wasn't.
He started with the Red Sox.
Oh, I know what it was. When the Dodgers traded Mike Piazza. Dodgers traded Mike Piazza to the Florida Marlins. He was only a Marlin for 10 days, and the Dodgers got him for Charles Johnson and a couple of other players. Well, Piazza was only a Marlin for 10 days, and then he was flipped from Miami to New York, where we all know what he did with the Mets. So those 3 are my most surprising trades of all time that I can remember.
I'll go. Yeah, Rich. Rich, you go next.
One holds a special spot in my heart. Ivan DeJesus going from the Cubs to the Philadelphia Phillies for Larry Boa and some punk third baseman named Ryan
Sandberg. Yep.
My guy. Another one that
did he freeze? Oh, he's thinking.
No, I didn't freeze. I'm trying to remember exactly how it played out. Hold on just a second. Because this one was one that I went, what? And it turned out fine, but I just didn't I was having a hard time trying to figure it out when it happened. Because it was, God dang it. Come on. Give me a break. Don't you love when your computer tries giving you a hard time?
Mm-hmm.
All the time.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah. Here we go. Okay. And I was trying to remember all the moving parts to it. The Rangers made a move with the Atlanta Braves that ended up getting the Rangers 2 World Series. I loved Mark Teixeira. I thought Mark Teixeira had Hall of Fame written all over him. But they traded Mark Teixeira and Ron Mayhay to Atlanta for Elvis Andrus, Neftali Feliz, Matt Harrison, and Jared Saltalamacchia.
Wow.
And the Rangers ended up going to the World Series in 2010 and 2011 with Nefty as the closer, with Elvis as their shortstop for the next 10 years, with Harrison being like their number 2 or 3 starter until he had a major back injury. And then they traded Saltalamacchia as part of a deal to the Boston Red Sox to get some guy that played third base. Adrian Beltre.
Beltre.
So that to me is another one of those trades that it was so surprising when it happened, and I went, what? But it worked. And then one that I kick myself for knowing that it happened. Robinson Diaz from the Toronto Blue Jays to the Pittsburgh Pirates for outfielder Jose Bautista.
Wow.
Yeah.
That goes back. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Jose Bautista originally come up in the Pirates organization?
That's what I'm saying. That was the trade that sent him to Toronto.
Oh, okay. Thank you. That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure.
He was originally a Pirate, yeah.
Yep.
Marcus, what about you, man?
Sorry, I was listening to Penta talk. So my three, if I got to say one Astros trade I'll always remember, maybe outside of Jordan, getting Jordan. How about Moises Alou from the Marlins to the Astros? I did like that one, even though I was really a kid, but looking back at it, I was like, that was probably one of their best trades ever in franchise history. But on the other hand, two that kind of shocked me in this time frame, and I'm like, holy shit. One of y'all might like one, one of y'all might not like the other, but how about one I'll never forget, friggin' A-Rod leaving the Rangers to go to the Yankees.
For Alfonso Soriano?
That one kind of shocked me. And then any other recent one I was kind of shocked about, Mookie Betts from the Red Sox to the Dodgers.
What did you guys have to give up for him? Do you remember?
Who did we have to give up to get Mookie Betts?
Yeah, wasn't that a trade?
Yeah, it was. Boy, let me that's a good question, Rich. I forgot.
Look at Papa J in the house. What's up, Papa J? He's still he's looking. Yeah. Oh, Judgment Day interrupted. Check.
So Big Rich, we ended up trading Alex Verdugo, Connor Wong, and at the time, infield prospect Jeter Downs to Boston for Mookie Betts and David Price.
Oh, yeah. And Jeter Downs was supposed to be a stud and completely went away. That's right. Yep. I forgot about that.
Yep.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I completely forgot about him. Yeah, Jeter Downs was supposed to be an absolute stud and didn't do much anything.
Nope. Yeah, just goes to show. Not every trade pans out.
No, you're right. You're 100% right.
It's funny. I've been scouring Twitter, and all the Mookie haters are coming out on Twitter. Oh, Mookie's old. Mookie's this. Mookie's that. It's like, hey, pile on him all you want. We got what we wanted out of Mookie. We got 2 World Series championships out of him. We got outstanding defense at 3 different positions for Mookie. Not to mention, he was a great leadoff hitter for us when he was in his prime. So, hey, Mookie did exactly what we wanted him to do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I don't doubt that. I mean, heck. I mean, the guy, I think it's pretty safe to say he's probably going to be a Hall of Famer.
He won't be first ballot, but yeah, he'll be a Hall of Famer. The reason why I say he won't be first ballot is because there are going to be Yankees writers and Giants beat writers that will not vote for him on the first ballot.
Well, yeah, you're right. But I mean, when you sit there and you look, I mean, anybody that doesn't know my criteria yet for the Hall of Fame, you must have been top 5 in your position for at least a 5-year period. To qualify for the Hall of Fame, whether it's football, baseball, basketball. If you look at 2016 through 2020, he gets 1 MVP, 2 second-place MVPs, 5 Gold Gloves, 4 Silver Sluggers. Outside of that, he didn't do anything. You know what I mean? And by the way, if anybody tries to give me WAR as a reason for somebody to go to the Hall of Fame ever again, I'm going to throw something. WAR is the absolute most overrated statistic of all time, including the quarterback rating.
It is.
You know,
Not and Rich, just to piggyback off what you just said there, Brian Kenny of the MLB Network and Bob Costas and Tom Verducci, all three, whose opinions I may not agree with all the time, but I respect, all three have come out and said that WAR, wins above replacement, is the most overrated stat in Major League Baseball history. You're right. In fact, they said that it should be entirely scrubbed from Hall of Fame voting altogether because in the long run, it means nothing as far as a measuring tool for the greatness of a player's career.
Right. I mean, I can't get into people look at WAR and that kind of stuff. Okay. The biggest one that I'm looking at is how does someone like Don Mattingly not get in when he was as dominant as he was for such a period of time? Dale Murphy, same way.
Yeah.
I mean, the man won an MVP. He was one of the best players in baseball for 6-8 years. Converted catcher to an outfielder, to a center fielder.
Yeah.
And when guys like that, and this is what just butters my beans, is when those guys aren't in, and then you get some schmagegi like Scott Rowland, Harold Baines, guys like that in there, and I just go, please explain it to me, please.
Yep.
Just explain it to me. Well, his WAR is higher. What? Don Mattingly is probably one of the best pure hitters in the history of baseball. Am I safe in saying that, guys?
Yes, you're safe in saying that. I mean, I hear similar arguments about Dale Murphy as well. For all the Don Mattingly arguments, I hear similar arguments about Dale Murphy, although not so much on the WAR, but more on just the overall production, especially when you factor in that Murphy played on some terrible Atlanta Braves teams in his career.
And the part that that I hear a lot of people talk about, like one home run would make a difference. He's hit 300 and he hit 399 in his career.
Yeah.
Are you honestly going to tell me that if he would have hit one more home run and had that 400 there instead of 399, he'd have been in already because of that one little number? If anybody can seriously, legitimately look me in the eye and tell me that that's the reason why he's not in the Hall of Fame, I'll be blown away. I'll be blown away because I don't think anybody can legitimately say that. But I'll bet that's what's holding a lot of people back is that he didn't hit 400 homers. I don't know. But guys, it's been an hour. I think, like I said, I think we've covered the trade deadline and all that stuff. You guys got anything else to hit in closing, Marcus? How's everybody get you, man?
Good. I'm at Dirty South ENT _ on X, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. I'm over there as well. And if there is an open mic tomorrow, who knows? I might pop in, may not.
There will be.
Thursday, I got my show on the go at 9 p.m. In about 2 weeks, I will be moving back to Wednesday nights when our football season's underway. But I got 2 more teams to preview, and then for a bonus, I got a conference to preview as well. So I'm previewing the Saints this Thursday, final NFL team. I got final college next week. I'm previewing Tulane, and for a bonus, on August 19th, I'm bringing Trey on from the Doghouse Podcast, and we're going to preview the SEC. Mainly just do a schedule prediction of how their results can go. Mainly, that's it. And then on Saturdays, Cajun Turnbuckle with you. Do a quick reaction of SummerSlam, and then we'll talk the Renegades, Dark Side of the Ring episode, and do our top 10 Hell in a Cell matches Saturday.
Sounds like a plan. Jason, how do folks get you, man? I know you usually have your closing thought.
Yep, and I'll come in with that in just a second. But first, you guys can find me on X/Twitter at DodgerJason. Please feel free to follow and comment and interact with me on that platform if you'd like. Also, I have just started my own podcast here, courtesy of Driving to the Top Productions. It's called It's Dodgers Time, the podcast. I will be coming to you guys later this week with a trade recap for the LA Dodgers. I'll give you fellow Dodger fans an overall assessment / grade of how the Dodgers did, and I'll also give you a preview of the second half of the season and tell you what I think the Dodgers need to do to start playing better baseball. That will probably be this Friday night, so keep an eye out for that. Aside from that, yeah, I like to give a parting shot, Rich, and here's my parting shot. And it does have to do with Major League Baseball and does have to do with the collective bargaining agreement. We've heard many compelling arguments on both sides of the aisle for why Major League Baseball needs a salary cap, why Major League Baseball needs a salary floor. The owners have stated their reasons why. The players have stated their reasons why they don't want one or need one. Ultimately, at the end of the day, Major League Baseball is not at this place because of the failure of the owners or because of the failure of the players. Stick with me on this one for a second, folks. Major League Baseball is at this stage because of the failure of the fans. What do I mean about that? We, the fans, still go to the games. We pay tickets to see our favorite teams. We, the fans, purchase the merchandise, the jerseys, the hats, the T-shirts, the concessions when we go to the games. We pay for the parking, okay? The owners always come out and say it's all about the fans. The players come out and say it's always about the fans. The whole collective bargaining agreement boils down to one thing: greed. And how is that greed fed? Through our wallets, the fans, the money. Now, there are other moving parts to the collective bargaining agreement that have not yet been discussed. But just remember that when you're getting ready to direct your frustration and your anger to the players and the owners, let's take a look at ourselves in the mirrors and just say to ourselves, if we don't go to the games, what's going to happen? If we don't watch on TV, what's going to happen? If we don't buy the merchandise, what's going to happen? If all of that happens, that's when the owners and the players will really start to care. And that's when the owners and the players will start to look at themselves in the mirrors and decide, is what we're doing right now really better for the game or better for the fans? That's my parting shot.
Hard to argue with that, man. Very hard to argue with that. You can get me on Twitter, BigRich8371, or on Facebook, just my name, Rich Richardson. Appreciate everybody that's been a part of the broadcast tonight. Appreciate Marcus and Jason coming on talking about the trade deadline. Tomorrow night, open mic night, driving to the top. I know we're going to have one because if Adam's not there, I'll host it. If Adam's still having he's on assignment for us, so he may end up having an extra day away. Wednesday, Steel City Sports Talk, myself and Adam, again, if Adam's available. And then Marcus and I on Saturday with Cajun Turnbuckle. Love being a part of Marcus's podcast down there. We have a lot of good time talking about old school wrestling. So everybody, hope you have a great evening. Thank you again for joining us. Thanks to Jason. Thanks to Mark. My name is Big Rich. So long, everybody.